All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the 210 show. Today we're going to have a more of a longer than usual pod. We're going to be talking about some fantasy football exclusively. But before we do that, let's do some introductions.
This is Angry Joey.
This is Diana with facts.
Oh, shit. Your boy Tony is back, baby.
I'm Mr. Raider. All right, fellas. So open mic, I guess. So who wants to take it?
You got your position groups and stuff like that. You're flipping through your magazines and you're trying to draft players based on other people's consensus, right?
Mm-hmm.
But of course, what's played out on paper is completely different how it gets played out in real life, right? So I went through and I was like, all right, when you talk about average draft position, right? That's the term that's normally used in fantasy football where it's talking about across the board, all platforms, whatever format, what is the average position that a player is drafted?
More like the ADP.
ADP, yes.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, let's talk about return on investment, right? So what were the top 10 at each position and where did they finish? So with the quarterbacks, overall, it was Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, Baker Mayfield, Bo Nix, Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray. Those are the top 10.
Top 10 in ADP or how?
In ADP.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Okay.
I would not have guessed that. That's a weird weird list.
Yeah.
And I think the weirdest fact out of all of this, the one person that wasn't in, I guess, collective ADP, the one player that was not in, even in the top 20 was Matthew Stafford.
Really?
Yes. That was odd, right?
That is odd.
So I was thinking like maybe it was because the scare about his back. And I remember when our very first episode, we talked about that, like the rumor about him even playing or whatever because his back was jacked up, right? So maybe that scared people off. Okay, right now.
For sure, but I thought he was on that list, the ADP list.
No. At least from where the site that I went to that's supposed to collaborate at all, basically Fantasy Pros and ESPN and Yahoo, I think were the three that they built this all, collaborated all this stuff from.
Okay.
But
so let me ask you this. What are they basing that off of? Are you talking about YAC scores? What are you talking about?
no, just straight up where people are drafting people.
Straight
Like
ADP.
if their
Okay,
average draft position
so
is
just
24th,
draft
they're-
position.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not based on any kind of metric or anything like that.
just a shit ton of drafts.
There's a crap ton of drafts. They
Does that make any sense to you guys?
collated it all together.
I mean, seriously. And, wouldn't they actually want to know how many yards these guys are throwing, how many touchdowns versus interceptions, that kind of stuff?
But again, you got to think about what the conversations were happening at that time, right?
Okay. Fair
So
enough.
you got to remember preseason's over, right? You're going into the regular season, and at that point, I don't think Stafford played at all. He didn't play preseason at all, and the only rumor mill was about his back.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, what are they going to do? Stuff like that. And I don't remember who the backup was. I think it was like Jarrett Stidham or something like that. No, not Jarrett Stidham.
No, it's
who wasn't Stidham.
I know
the
who the
old
fuck
guy
that
from
is.
Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Bennett?
He's
No.
already like
Stetson
30 and
Bennett.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Stetson Bennett, right?
Bennett.
And he didn't look too great. So it was like, oh man, like,
Mhm.
and then, all the talk about, like what Devontae Adams was going to do, if Puka was going to do anything, all that type of stuff. So that all cascaded together, right?
Cup is gone.
Right. So
Where was Mahomes in this?
Mahomes was 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So now, let me put the order. Okay. So now the season's over, right? So who was the top 10? Josh Allen, Drake May, Stafford, Trevor Lawrence, Caleb Williams, Dak Prescott, Bo Nix, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert. Those are your top 10 in fantasy finish, right?
Wow.
That's kind of odd, because you're not taking into consideration the injuries. Jaden Daniels, I would assume that he
Right.
would have actually been
well-
much higher, perhaps.
Yeah, but you don't give a shit if you drafted him.
Yeah,
Where
I
he's
was gonna
drafted,
say,
he
yeah,
didn't
I
do
mean,
anything
if
for
you
you.
see, if he's
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
fantasy league, then
Yep.
you're just shit in the bed right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on my injured reserve almost all year.
So, yeah.
So I couldn't play him at all. I had to
I
rely
mean-
on Jalen Hurts all year.
Yep. I know in my redraft, my bigger redraft league that I do every year, Jaden Daniels was the last of the big name quarterbacks that went. and I thought I was outsmarting everybody because I got him like in the 5th or 6th round or something like that. And I had racked and stacked. I think I didn't finish well because I started with Justin Jefferson, and then
that's not surprising.
Yeah. So we'll get into the wide receivers later. But the point of all of this is like we talk about return on investment, right? You start with one group, and then the season wanes, and you start to think like, okay, what type of decision do I need to make? Do I stick with this guy because I drafted him high, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you had Baker Mayfield, he started great. You know what I mean? He started great. But
Actually,
then,
you're right. He did. I think
he
was
did
leading
until
the lead.
he actually lost Mike Evans.
And the whole entire offense.
Yeah.
At
Yeah,
one point.
pretty much.
Actually, and weren't they talking about he was an early MVP
yes,
in the
Yeah.
season?
he was,
something like that?
he was being taught. Yep, he was being
Yeah.
in that conversation. And then he still finished as a QB1 because he finished number 12. But considering how he was starting, and his ADP was 7, so it's like, all right, you was getting him in a discount, and you felt like, all right, cool, I hit the lottery. You know what I'm saying? But then the season goes along, and so yeah. So I to me, of the list of biggest disappointment, if you don't count injury, I would say, Joe Burrow did get hurt, didn't he?
I was gonna say I got one. Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even when he came back, I mean, took him a minute to get his pacing, but it's not really fair because he was hurt, didn't have a whole season.
Yeah.
But if you drafted him though,
Right, you drafted him high.
Yeah, and
there
he
was
doesn't
a lot
play,
of quarterback injuries this year.
Yeah.
man.
I mean, and even like Jalen Hurts too, right? Because he was drafted top 5, but he finished 9. But it didn't feel like it.
No.
You know what I mean?
And I wrote him all year. No, it did not feel like
he
it.
played every game. He was kind of consistent, but I bet you he didn't have like super big blow up games like he has in the past.
But
his rushing, it's always is just one, just rushing touchdowns.
That's what I'm saying. If he didn't have his rushing touchdowns, then it would have been a complete, utter, just waste of a pick. And if in a redraft, if you're doing a redraft,
yeah.
Well, it also
that's the thing too, right?
comes into play, when you're talking about the makeup of your league. Because I mean, the 4 of us were actually also in a league where it's 2 quarterback league where you're actually supposed to start 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Okay, and now granted, it's only 10 men, but you can only draft 2 quarterback, or up to 3 quarterbacks, and that's it. So if you are not drafting accordingly, you're not going to go very far.
Yeah.
So anyway, so if you actually have an injury in a league that's structured like that, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
But yeah, I think maybe the biggest surprise out of everybody, well, one would be Matthew Stafford, just based on how the ADP data that was gathered, he had the biggest jump because he was essentially quarterback 24. And he finished quarterback 3.
So let me ask you this. Do you think it was because of Puka or the fact that they actually picked up Devontae Adams?
I think it's just because of the offense. And
just in general. Right?
Yeah, and the fact that he was healthy. I think that was just the biggest thing.
I was going to say, so everybody was worried about his back. He started to slide in ADP, which is why his ADP is so low. So, of course, he played every game, which nobody thought. And then, and obviously, it's a Sean McVay offense, and Devontae Adams certainly helps. What did Devontae Adams do? Not much, except when it came in the red zone. He caught like 15 touchdowns because all he did was throw him the ball in the red zone.
Yep.
So that helps Stafford,
Yeah.
Nice, reliable target. They just throw it out there. Fine.
Yep.
I was fine with that.
Oh, yeah, I bet you were.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if I think I guess we got to throw this out there too. So like going into next season, right? Looking at the quarterbacks. Of the top 10, who would you trust going to next season?
All right. We talking Dynasty? Let's
We'll stick to a Dynasty format. And just for the audience,
that's what we do mostly.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's a hell of a difficult decision to make, just because we have no idea what the draft picks are going to be looking like. I mean, a lot of people would want to say like something like Mahomes, but if he doesn't surround himself around, some really loud receivers and a good backfield.
But I trust him, especially from a dynasty perspective, right? Like I would still trust him.
Well, he's serviceable, but would you say
he was awesome last year with his rushing?
Okay.
So he finished. Okay, so his ADP was 6, but he finished 11.
Okay.
So now for the name of Patrick Mahomes, it would be a disappointment.
Yeah.
Would everybody agree?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, he was drafted 6th and not like 1st or 2nd like he was for a little while there.
Yeah. His name still garners respect
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
right? But you think of it was very inconsistent at wide receiver.
Mhm.
Rashee Rice was suspended. Xavier Worthy was a rookie and
Couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah, couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Kelsey's older.
And Kelsey got old.
Mhm.
And they had no running game.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So unless they actually manage to get those skill positions actually shored up,
he's going to be. Line was average too.
Well, and not only that, but he's also playing in the AFC West. This is just getting better and better.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, I mean,
That's true.
I hate to say it, you know, but the Raiders, they're going to be better. The Broncos defense, they're going to be
good again.
You know, and the Chargers, they're going to be stout again as well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so
they should be.
yeah, I think the AFC West is going to be a problem. You know, so
I'm just looking at it from fantasy though.
From
Like I think he'll be fine. I do trust him. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
He's at least more consistent and steady. You can count on him.
Yeah.
As opposed to maybe some of the names you want to talk about on the list. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Don't get me wrong.
Like,
you know,
like
I think
Stafford. Do you trust him again for another year? I don't. If I had him in Dynasty, I'd be trying to sell him after that season. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Mhm.
I agree. You know, I mean that's the perfect time to sell him right now.
Right.
You know,
like
what I mean?
I do not believe he's going to play every game next year. You know.
Well, with that back,
Exactly.
I mean,
it didn't act up, but now people are more confident in him. You can get more for him.
Yeah, and the offensive line did perform well.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
They did. And they had a good running game, so they could actually stretch things out a little bit.
Yeah.
So
and the one thing about
they had mediocre receivers like Puka Nacua. You know, I mean, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, Devontae Adams, a year older. I don't even know what his contract situation is. Puka's the way he plays, he's banged up a lot. What if he gets hurt? You know, and now all of a sudden you got an old Stafford with nobody.
Good point
to throw
there,
to.
Tony.
Good
point.
Yeah, the injury bug can be.
I know we shouldn't expect injuries or like worry about him, but you know, like with him, he's older and he's already had these back issues. So
The key is you try to be as prepared as you can.
Well,
right?
let's bring this back in towards the fantasy football portion of it, though. So basically, what you're saying is that when you're going into a season like this, who are you going to draft, or who should you prioritize?
Yeah,
as far as for like your team. So is it somebody that like you could trust, like like Tony what Takes was saying?
Yeah. So
or should you just go out there and grab?
So right now, like, and I'm glad you brought that up. So we're focusing on in a dynasty format, and so for the audience, a dynasty format means that the players that you draft, you keep forever, and every year you have a rookie draft for the new incoming class of rookies that come into the NFL, and you draft them onto your team, and you add to that. So now, right now, what you're doing, especially with the combine happening this week. Free agency is happening, and NFL teams are making decisions going forward in preparation for the actual NFL draft. So now, as a dynasty owner, you have to look over your roster, seeing how you finished, and looking at your individual players and saying, okay, much like how the NFL is doing, do we need to keep? Yep. Do I keep these guys?
Yep.
Do I keep this group together based on their age? Do I make a decision? Do I keep them? Or do I try to extract as much value as I can now while they still have value to actually give?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So
it's a slippery slope, and I'm going to go back to what Tony said about Matthew Stafford. That's a very good take that I think you made. In a dynasty format, sell for the right price. Now, what would be a good asking price for him, depending on how the league is actually structured?
Yeah,
let's just keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that you actually have a 1 quarterback league. It's just 20, standard format. What would be a good asking price for the likes of Matthew Stafford? Maybe a second?
I mean, maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, it's a 1 quarterback league. I don't know, man. He wouldn't be highly valued even after the year he had. I don't think.
I think
would you give up a
third rounder?
I mean, unless you're desperate and you're a win now. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
Like
that's another thing
probably
to
talk about, right? If I suck and I'm trying to get young, well, Stafford doesn't make sense for my team, right? But if I'm a win now team who's good and a little old, I may be like, it's not worth it to sell him. Let's run this thing one more year.
I'm gonna score that because like I can only speak for my team. Like my team, I was in a situation where I had 4 of my star players that I've had since we started the league and drafted them that were producers, and they got to be older, 29, 31, 32. Cooper Kupp, Christian McCaffrey, and then Josh Jacobs was the third. I can't remember the fourth right now, but I had to make a tough decision to strike while I was hot, because I remember what Tony was saying was like, I'd rather get rid of a player too early than too late.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm in that situation with Cooper Kupp right now because I couldn't offload him. But
isn't that really a shitty thing, when you actually think about it, that 29, 30 years old is considered over the hill.
It's a tough game.
Fantasy.
Yeah.
In fantasy, you're trying to keep the train rolling. But I think I guess I'm speaking for myself because I have Stafford, right? But to me, right now is not the right time to actually sell somebody like him.
But you're also a contender.
Right. So you were in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So let the audience know. So it makes sense for you.
Your team is strong, so, I mean, what's the incentive for you to actually pack him up and give him away to somebody that's actually no shit desperate?
It would be it's completely dependent on what my rest of my roster is doing.
Yeah.
If I have other quarterbacks that are younger, they're still doing the job, and we run into the middle of the season, and much like our league, which I would think was one of the more competitive seasons that we've ever had, where people were playoff eligible for the longest time, right?
Yeah.
So now every little
even two for a long time. Everybody had.
It was like 1 or 2 game gap between second place and 8th.
Yeah.
So it's just like in a situation like that, especially if you get hit with the injury bug, but you're still in that playoff window, and it's like, all right, especially if Stafford is still balling still, I can go to that owner and say, hey, your quarterback just got hurt. He's not coming back. Like Lamar Jackson, for example. And it's like, but you still think you have the rest of your roster still good enough to make a playoff push or even the championship. Do you really surrender the entire season, or do you make a deal for an asset that's still producing?
Okay, so let's put this into perspective.
Yeah.
Who are your other quarterbacks?
Are we talking about me specifically?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So
I just want to make sure I illustrate this for the.
Okay. So I have Tua, Brock Purdy, Mac Jones. That's what I have right now, along with Stafford.
Jones.
Yeah. So right now, am I most comfortable with it? Oh, and I have JJ McCarthy too. But
got a lot of quarterbacks.
I got a lot of quarterbacks
for a one quarterback league.
But,
okay, so at the end of the day, what you're saying is that Stafford is expendable.
I don't know. You have a lot, but not quality.
Yeah, bro. You only
So
got one quarterback that's producing.
So, what I mean is to your point, you're actually saying that if like you said, if somebody like that's in a contention position that loses a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, I mean that makes sense to deal him.
I would be
in
tempted,
your position, right?
I would be tempted to offer him. Now, that doesn't mean I would give him away for Swiss cheese.
Well, no, of course not. You're going to ask something, you know. I mean,
yeah. But I think you brought up a second, right? So if we're fast forwarding to next season, and that was the scenario, and let's just say it's trade deadline time, and it's like, all right, we need to make a deal. We got to make this thing happen right now. If you offer me a second, I would take it. I absolutely would take it, and it works, and it would work theoretically. It will work for both sides because that player they're still contending, so they're happy. Me, I just extracted value from an asset that may not even be around the following season.
Okay, so here's one more other question. Let's say that person that you're actually trading with could pose a danger to you. Would you still make that trade?
See, I used to think that way. I used to not do that.
Okay,
I used to be that way.
I make that point, because we actually have people in our league that
don't fucking care. To be honest with you,
what about you, Tony? What makes your team better? Is my point.
Nope.
I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
As long as it benefits me.
Yeah.
But does it benefit you on your way to actually getting a ship?
But that's the risk and reward, though.
How is it risk and reward? Because I mean, if you actually ship off Matthew Stafford to a team that's going to make them better in the now, for a second round pick, the next year that doesn't benefit you in the now,
right?
Who's making who better?
Okay,
but that's why you play a long game,
right? So
play
again,
the long game, but there's no guarantee in the long game. That's my point.
Again, risk reward. But see, this is where the thought process comes in of, all right, I'm still competing well too. Now, if I'm competing well, or maybe I'm not, maybe my team completely wet the bed, but I have points on my team I need to get rid of. If Stafford's still producing for me and I stink, okay, I need to extract as much draft capital as I can.
Okay, my point is that, and I'm just trying to drive home this subject, just because, I have my own way of thinking about this, but do you reject trades for the same purpose of keeping other people sucking?
No. See,
No.
okay.
That's
So
my
trades should make
point.
theoretically make sense for both teams.
Right.
Kind of make them both better
Okay.
because
Yeah.
of different needs.
Absolutely.
So I'm just trying to drive home this rhetoric
Absolutely.
here. That's all.
Yeah.
It should benefit your team. Like you should, when you make a trade, you should be like, yes, my team is improved. It's been a better position than it was yesterday than today. And then you want to look at the long term and the short term. With your situation, trading him for a second round pick, I consider that phenomenal value for a depreciating asset.
There's too many factors to worry about too to think like what's going to happen if you're like,
Yeah,
I'm not going to do it with this team because I think I'm going to play them in the playoffs.
Exactly.
You know, it's weird.
Exactly. You know, and you can miss on a
Absolutely
second
right
round
there,
pick,
Tony.
or you could pick the next Pat Mahomes with your second round pick. You know what I mean? So
I was putting that out there as a rhetorical question. You know, I mean, simply because a lot of people they will avoid trades and hold on to these depreciating players for no reason whatsoever until they're not tradable whatsoever.
Oh, it's a good point. Some people do it, you know. Shit, I've had people in our league say, I'm not going to trade with Tony because, you know, I was good for those like 4 or 5 years. You know, they're like, I'm not going to make you better. I'm like,
tell me that too.
Okay. That's the only reason why I was bringing up this subject, you know, was just because, you know, there's a lot of people that think that way.
They're just not confident in their ability to make their team any better.
I think the longest time, Tony was the only person that would really trade with me. You know, and outside of that, it was rough.
Well, we're kind of tilting toward a completely different subject, but I like where we're going. I like where we're here. So let me. I was one of those people, but it's all about who you're trying to get and who you're trying to get and who you're getting it from, right? So I was at a point where my team was always struggling, which always meant that my draft picks had higher value than the actual players on my team. So, for a lot of the members of our
you
league,
gave Josh all of them.
Whatever. The point is, if I know I want someone, and I mentioned this before, if I know I want someone, it's my job to make sure that I convince that person to want to give them up. Because if I'm asking for somebody, I'm coming to you. So I'm not going to try to lowball you. You're not going to give anything to me, you know? So if I'm not trying to hassle nobody, or I'm not trying to have a back and forth or whatever, but I know what I want, I'm going to put the highest reasonable offer out there for that, whatever that asset is. If I had the belief in that player that person has can be a benefit to my team. Maybe not now, maybe not immediately, but in the future, sure. Especially if you've had so many picks that haven't panned out, and I get an actual asset that has proven itself, then I might as well go ahead and trade my draft picks to get that person, because at least I know that's a valuable asset that I won't be disappointed with later with a draft pick.
Okay,
you know?
So and for the audience, you know, since we're not on video, I'll just have you all know that the Hater with Facts was eyeballing me the entire time that he was giving that diatribe. Just thought I'd throw it out there.
Whatever. Anyway.
Okay, so that's a good take on what to do there.
I only respect your comment because you are the current champion. That's it.
But if either of you wouldn't have made the moves that you made, you wouldn't be in that championship
No,
game.
not at all. You know,
Right?
I mean,
that's very true.
And not only that, guys, and for the audience, at the end of the day, it's a game.
Yes.
Play the fucking game. You know, have fun with it. You know, make the trades, make the moves. You know, interact with your people, have friendships with it, and you know, I mean, because if you're not making moves, you're stagnant, and you will finish in the worst possible way you can, and that's middle of the league at best.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we've actually had some guys that have actually finished, you know, in the top 3, 4 years in a row, something like that.
Yeah.
Good God.
And still
they're still not.
And they still suck.
That's because you can't solely rely on that. You know what I mean? Sure, you'll have a couple good players, but it's not enough.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly. You know, so, but you do have to make moves. You have to be fluid especially in a dynasty league. You have to be on the move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, I can tell you from experience for myself, I mean, I was for the first
4 years,
first
maybe?
4 or 5 years at least, I was actually finishing dead middle every
The worst
year.
place to be.
It's the
Absolutely
worst
the worst.
place to be.
Yeah.
And, it wasn't until I decided to actually make some drastic moves by trading away some serious assets and jeopardizing the fact that I could have finished dead last, which I didn't want to do, because I'm just too competitive that way, but.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Huh? What?
What'd you just say?
I never finished dead last. I was just saying. I don't know. I mean, anybody in this
Timestamp.
I got close enough.
Timestamped and bookmarked. All right.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that it can't happen. It's just
No.
this year.
I didn't say that it can't happen.
No.
I'm not pulling
You're attempting fate. You're attempting fate, sir.
No. I just say I don't want to. Nobody wants to finish dead last.
But that's not what you said.
I want to finish first or last. Not that easy to do, but
No.
Yeah. Either way. But, I mean, to Tony's point, the worst place you can finish is dead middle because you're not getting, premium capital on picks. And
you're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, you're not making the playoffs. You're just stagnant.
Yep.
So if you start feeling like you're actually finishing in the middle, you need to blow your team up.
Yep.
That's the only option that you have.
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong in that, guys?
No. But let's stay there, but let's go in a different direction. I think Tony and I can talk about this. When you're used to making the playoffs and going to Super Bowls, like you went to 4 of them, right? I think it was 4 of them. I went to 5 of them. And then at a certain point, your team's going to have a drop off.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm at now. It's kind of difficult because you're not used to being in that position. You're always used to either picking last or not last. I mean, like 10th in our league, and building around that, right? And you don't really care about the 110 because you can trade that. It's like a second round, third round pick to me. So, but this is different because now you need those early picks to build back up. So, what you did and what you've been trying to do, and then what I'm doing is like it's kind of interesting to see this perspective as opposed to being constantly in the playoffs and winning.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just it's the truth.
No, we're not.
It's a rotation
at all.
Yeah, it's tough, man, and it's a different strategy now. Everything has changed, and I'm really I find that the second round picks for me personally, just on my squad for this year's draft, is worth way more to me than it was years previously.
Right.
And I'll also add to that, and if you are actually in a win now mode, don't be afraid to sacrifice those picks.
Fuck them picks.
If
you don't have any picks this year, do you?
I have
what happened?
I have one pick.
What happened?
And it got me a ship.
There you go.
And in our
He's
league,
the Rams, and ladies and gentlemen,
getting a ship is what it's all about, guys.
Yep.
Getting your name on that belt. That is. Don't worry about it, hater. I see the look you're giving me, and
This is the second time, though, man.
To be fair,
that's the problem. This is the second. Happen.
Getting to my status here soon.
That's not fun either.
Hell no, dude.
Yeah, I know. I was the bridesmaid to you once too, my friend. Not the bride. So I get it. It sucks. But you're not getting any sympathy from me, dude. I'm just saying.
I'm not asking for it, but I'm just putting it out there that it sucks. Just witnessing other people get their name on the belt for the first time stinks. And you're still trying to get there.
You'll get there, man.
And
you'll get there.
Damn.
This league is going to be around for a while, I think.
Right.
So, but yeah. Anyway,
so that's two different winners last 2 years.
Yes.
After there was literally like only 3 winners forever.
Yeah, it was you, Steve, and myself.
And you.
Yep.
Yeah, that were
for the most part.
For the most part.
Kyle.
Oh yeah, he did win once.
Yeah.
He won the first one.
Yep.
I remember that.
He won the first one, and then last year, by some miracle, Larry won it. And
that was.
I'll
the
be honest,
luckiest.
that one hurt. That one hurt more. Even losing to you hurt, but losing to him and the way it happened was far worse. Far worse.
I hope he hears this podcast.
Man. Yeah. But I've already told him that. Like he knows.
All right, we gonna talk about the quarterbacks again? Like
no. So we're
but that was good talk.
Yeah. So the running backs, right? So as far as ADP, the top 10 was Bijan, Saquon, Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Ashton Jeanty, Devon Achane, Josh Jacobs, Bucky Irving, Chase Brown.
No Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor was 11.
No Kyron Williams?
Kyron Williams was 12.
That was actually the ADP, right?
That's
Dude,
ADP.
what's up with the
ADP.
running backs the last 2 years not getting hurt? Like, that's almost... You would be happy with any one of those picks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so
that's crazy, man.
So what were the actual final?
And the final
Well,
finish?
like you said, you didn't know they're getting older. Dude, nobody thought McCaffrey was going to be able to hold up for 450 touches, dude. Are you kidding me?
I thought he was done. I really did.
I think the audience knows I'm a Niners fan, right? In the Niners community, we used to say, a new Niner would get hurt every week, and we talked about this during the season, right?
Yeah.
We would say that McCaffrey's siphoning their life off of them because like he's staying healthy with 30 to 40 touches a game and shit. It's like, how is this possible?
But literally everyone else around him is falling apart.
Dudes
Like,
are just like,
it was
the
kind of
dude's a
funny, like,
machine.
inside joke, but that shit was crazy, man. See, that's another thing. The guy right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever had that type of workload and survived. Not to mention a guy coming into his 30s and who's been hurt a lot in the last few years.
I mean, he went to Germany for a plasma injection, right?
I don't know where the hell he went. He got more than plasma. Got adamantium.
He got something, man.
He got that vibranium. He got something.
He got something. He got something. But yeah.
He went to the same scientist that made Captain fucking America.
Hey, whatever it is, he need to be a spokesperson or something.
Absolutely.
My God.
So
but,
for those,
yeah.
so those are the ADPs, right? But what about Dynasty? Do we have any Dynasty rankings for the running backs?
No.
Who would you rank?
I didn't pull that.
And that would probably be like a startup draft. It would be so dramatically different.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I figured. That's why I use the redraft data, because that's where you're going to have more people,
Sure.
and stuff like that, and is mostly at the closest point to the start of the season. So
So if you have one of these players, what are y'all doing for your teams at this point?
Oh my God.
What are you doing? What moves are you making? Again, we're talking Dynasty, right? So
right. But before we do that, so let me now, as far as fantasy finish, right? So I gave you how they were drafted, but this is how they finished.
Oh, okay.
So Christian McCaffrey was first. Bijan Robinson was second.
Crazy.
Gibbs, Taylor, Achane, James Cook, Chase Brown, Derrick Henry, Kyron Williams, Ashton Jeanty.
Ashton Jeanty?
Yeah, shockingly enough. But
sheesh.
But for the longest part, but that's an example. But that's an example of how the season can go. Because for the longest time, like, he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And the Raiders stunk.
I know.
But somehow, some way,
sure.
I think he finished with almost close to 1,000 yards somehow. But it was like for the longest stretch. Like,
I don't know, man.
Because he didn't score a lot of touchdowns, I don't think. But he had, he had the volume,
touchdowns.
Which is what you want from running backs, right?
I think that's what it
Pete
was.
Carroll.
And not only
Pete
that,
Carroll
but,
gets volume.
Brock Bowers getting hurt. They
They
actually started.
They leaned on him.
They started running the ball.
Well, Pete Carroll is the one who wanted to run the ball a lot anyway. So that was.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, old man Carroll
being on his coaching staff.
That's a guy you can try to see if their owner is a little bit sour on him, because the perception is he didn't have a great year, right? And he's still on the Raiders.
Yeah.
And maybe they just don't love him.
Well,
who's that, Jeanty? You think they don't love him?
Their owners may be, look, do you think his value is as high as it was last year at this time? It was like, he's the next coming of like freaking Bijan Robinson this year,
Yeah, he got a lot of hype.
But he's on the Raiders, though, for good. I mean,
watch him
out.
Exactly.
Don't
You
be
can throw that out there and be like, hey, dude, Jeanty sucked this year, even though we know he didn't. But you could say, because that's the perception, is he didn't have a great year.
Yeah.
And look, he's on the Raiders. He sucked. Maybe you can get a discount on him.
It's
but
a new offense.
I didn't
but
know
he had Pete Carroll, and he had all of his children running the fucking team. And stuff.
Awesome. That's good. Just use that as negotiation.
I have tried to move on, sir. I've tried to move on. We're going into a draft with Mendoza. I don't want to relive this and rehash, man.
No, my point is that I think that Jeanty's legit. I really
do too.
I think that he's a stud. He is definitely going to be a problem in the way forward. As long as if they could actually shore up that offensive line, they get the quarterback that they're supposed to. I mean, a lot of things can happen, man.
Okay.
Well, there is some line of caution too, because Kubiak has already came out and said that he's looking to have a running mate with Ashton Jeanty next year. Oh, so that was a big right. So that's the biggest.
Same thing as Seattle.
Okay, so he's not looking for a bell cow. He's actually looking for a committee.
Same thing.
Right. So last year he was a bell cow.
Okay, so from a fantasy perspective, that's a problem.
Except one thing, he's not like just a guy. He's special.
He's a special guy. Right.
You can't be an asshole that much and not put him on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, it may sound good until you see that he's out producing this bum that you brought in to have his running back mate. And you know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean,
no, that's a good point,
detriment of your team. You know what I'm saying?
Well, look what Kubiak did for Seattle. You had Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet.
Well, by all accounts, Gibbs, was really good for them. Committee too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but it worked for them.
They're going to get theirs.
Yeah.
Well, right. Yeah.
I mean, you saw what Walker did in the Super Bowl, man. He's able to be that dude, you know?
Yeah.
Just saying. It's a good idea.
You know, you don't want, I mean, you do want, workhorses are great, right? But you also don't want them to get overworked too, you know?
That's exactly right.
But the big thing is you want him to catch passes. He has to be able to do that, which is why Gibbs is
Wouldn't you want to have his chain? If it was your team, you had Genty, I would want his chain if I could. Or if I was another team, I would try to draft, like, you gave me like Zach Charbonnet. You didn't give me traded.
Yeah.
Zach Charbonnet.
Yes.
I thought that was perfect because I knew he was going to be utilized. So if you're one of those teams that's looking for a running back that probably can get you anywhere from 10 to 12 points a game, you'd want to get the person who's comboed with Genty. That's just the way I would think, if you can.
Yeah.
In the draft.
Yeah, especially the way the way the league has approached running backs anyway. You're not going to have too many who are considered bell cows. Right?
Yeah.
So even now, like, McCaffrey was the bell cow of bell cows, right? Bijan Robinson finally like realized his potential last year. He finished second. Mm-hmm. Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, he just took off. Like he was in a committee. He was in a committee for the first 2 years of his career. He was still good. He was still great. Yeah. But then, you know, they dialed it back with him and David Montgomery, and all of a sudden he just took off like a rocket ship. Jonathan Taylor, I think for him,
well, the problem was
disrespected. Taylor 2 seasons.
I was going to say, you know, I mean, when they actually lost their quarterback, that
hurt him
Flip
bad.
Jones,
I know, because it cost me a damn Super Bowl.
You know, when they lost the quarterback, you know, that
it hurt bad.
Danny Dimes of all fucking people,
dude, man, they were looking.
But
good.
he was balling. Yeah. You know, I mean, he actually had some games,
and he's athletic. It helps the running back, you know, because you got to be careful. He's sneaky athletic, man.
This is a sidebar, but just I mean, real quick, did you guys hear about Anthony Richardson?
Trade? Apparently, he's given papers.
Well, they allowed him to seek a trade. I mean,
you know what that means.
they're gonna get a complimentary pick, like a 7th round complimentary pick. Like, bro, like really, like your value is trash. Why not stay there, learn the position behind Daniel Jones, get better, and then Malik Willis.
But you know,
you just brought him up earlier.
Well,
Malik Willis.
Did the same thing with what's his name, Sam Darnold. You know, when he changes scenery is not always a bad thing.
Yeah, but this scenario is completely different.
Sucked worse than Darnold.
For me, though, it's a situation where you could see him taking over one day. Like, okay, you're not that afraid of Daniel Jones. I know he played good last year, but he got hurt, which it's a bad injury, too. So you want to go somewhere that you could see yourself starting. Where are you going to go? Go somewhere you're the backup forever? You know what I mean?
That's the part I don't understand. Is like, well, two things. First, the Colts hated him so bad that they're saying, we need you to leave. Despite the fact of our situation, Daniel Jones is not going to be ready to start week 1.
Right.
But they're like, we are not turning over the keys to you ever again. So, and we can't, and clearly,
sucks,
well, if that's the case, then he should leave. You know what I mean?
Okay, so if that is the case, and if there's that little faith from Indianapolis,
right.
Where the fuck does he go?
And that's what I was saying. What kind of value can he demand?
Somewhere he has to go. Somewhere where he's going to get a shot. You know, like
you're going to be on a prove it deal.
He's awful, man.
You know,
he's awful. He needs more.
But we knew he was super raw. We know he's super physical and athletic, and unfortunately,
he's got all the traits. He just. Yeah,
it led to injuries, but
Anyway,
he does, man.
Sorry about that. I know it's a sidebar. I was just
you got to be able to
young,
read
I think, too, like really young.
Yeah. So. Back to this. Sorry.
So I think of the list here, the one person that scares the mess out of me is Chase Brown.
Why?
I feel like he's highly overrated.
What?
Yes. I just for an offense like that, for him to not be able to produce better than he did is a little bit disappointing. You literally have 2 studs on the outside, which means they cannot stack the box on you.
Tell me, bro. Who was
What?
throwing him? Who was their quarterback for a good portion of the season?
Okay.
Flacco, buddy.
Okay. So
Defenses aren't afraid of him. They're going to double Jamar Chase. T. Higgins was hurt for a while. So your option, the reason why Chase Brown was such a good pick is because Joe Burrow would dump it off to him.
Yeah.
He had like probably, I think it was 45 or 50 catches last year. I think it was.
right. But from
I think it's kind of unfair this year. If Joe Burrow was there all year and he didn't, then I would give it to you.
okay, I'll meet you halfway. Even though Joe Burrow wasn't there, if somebody is going to dump the ball off to you, you should be able to still do something with it.
Not if the defense is loading the box, bruh. Like if they don't
But you
respect
can't
your
load the box.
quarterback.
Can't load a box on that
But you
team.
can't load the box.
I think that's what
when you
makes
got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Remember, T. Higgins was down for a while. T. Higgins was down for a while.
Okay.
And all they were doing was just doubling Jamar Chase. And they didn't have a tight end to throw to.
But not everybody has a stud corner that you can trust that can stick with Jamar Chase.
Well, it worked. It worked this year. Look at
True.
Jamar Chase's numbers. It worked this year.
Well, he still finished top 5,
I know.
but it just like he had his explosive games, like 200 games and stuff like that. But still, and it was just like,
Yeah.
oh, and then it's like, all right, you got a guy like Jamar Chase. Guess what? I don't care if you double team or not. You still getting the ball.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
still getting like 18 to 15.
Yeah,
targets.
Flacco was like throwing like 20 targets a
yeah,
game.
and then
I
you-
remember.
He's like,
Right. Then you had Joe Flacco.
I know where my
Yeah,
my
exactly.
money paid. It's like,
Yeah.
Yep, I'm gonna
That's
get
exactly what I
re-signed
would
doing
do,
this.
too.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
totally forgot about Joe Flacco.
if
so it's
only
like,
JJ
yeah.
McCarthy could watch some Flacco tape.
Man. I know.
Jesus.
Oh man, that's got to cut a little bit close
No.
to the nerve. Then
That's a
doesn't it?
hot take right there. We need to
No,
put that on
no,
a short,
no.
on a YouTube
Hey,
short
man.
clip.
Hey, that ain't no excuse here.
Oh,
Hey,
I'm
my-
so
my
glad
man
I
sucks.
traded him.
But this is
Man.
my thing. I
Who did I
do.
trade him to, by the way?
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
I like Chase Brown actually as a player.
Okay.
And you, of course, want pieces of that offense, right? So I liked him. I drafted him high in a lot of like best ball leagues this year, right? And he had a lot of explosive games. My problem with it is they don't like to use him all the time. And like Samaje Perine had like some huge games. 31-year-old Samaje, like, oh, you know, like
Yeah.
average fucking Perine, you know?
That's what I mean.
So it's weird.
Yeah,
I
that's weird.
guarantee you they bring in a good running back this offseason.
Right.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so as long as they can shore up that offensive line,
Well, yeah. I mean, they didn't look. I like the player. I
Damn.
like the offense. I mean, he's you know,
I just figured.
I do think there's gonna be more competition there, and they don't seem to. Just when you think, oh, it's here we go, Chase Brown, he's unlocked. Then the next 2 games he doesn't touch the ball
He
that
didn't do
much,
anything.
and somebody else goes
Yeah.
off. It's
Hey,
really weird.
yeah.
Interesting fact.
very inconsistent.
This draft, fastest running back class ever in
Yeah?
the history of the combine.
Isn't there a
the running back?
4.33
The running back class is the fastest ever in the combine history for this
Really?
year's draft.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are they
Yeah.
all tiny
Yeah.
little?
That's what I was about to say.
No. There's one dude that's 6'1", 225. He ran a 4.39. It was like a 4.39 or a 4.4.
All right.
Something like
well,
that.
you know,
Mhm.
I think I like that kid from Nebraska. I can't remember his name, but I think he had a shit run time, and I was like, damn, man, I was really hoping it would be better than that.
Mhm.
I haven't really dug into it yet because we're
Yeah,
filming like
yeah.
the combine was
Yeah.
today.
Yeah,
so
I usually go back and
Yeah.
watch
Yeah.
and give
Yeah.
samples, but
I'm just happy with Jeremiah Love's time.
oh,
I bet you
what
are.
was his time, by the way?
4.37.
Yeah.
freaking crazy,
Yeah.
dude. Like,
Oh
And then
my
he said he
God.
was disappointed. His dad was all pissed off in the stands, like they thought he was going to run faster than that. I'm like, oh yeah, baby.
well, he was saying that he was going to get a 4.24 or a 4.27.
They thought he can run a 4.2 something, which I was very
Yeah.
surprised about. But still, either
Bro.
way, the dude's fast, and
that's-
that was
so-
that's all
no,
we
no.
needed to know.
He's
so
ran.
Tony,
He's ran a
who's going to be your
4.27.
1-1-0
Oh,
pick?
you guys don't no suspense there,
There's
bro.
no suspense.
No,
Come on, man.
did you like he ran a 4.27 unofficially? That's why they were upset.
Jeez, man.
4.27, bro. Come on, that's Chris Henry kind of like
Hey, man.
speed, you know?
Well, whoever he goes to, man.
Yeah.
Give him the ball.
So in this right here for your team, right? For
Sure.
Dynasty. So you're
Yep.
saying you wouldn't want Chase Brown?
I would be very, very skeptical. If not him, James Cook too.
Okay.
I don't like the vibes coming out of Buffalo, to be honest.
So going into the offseason though, what are you doing with these players then? Are you keeping them or are you trying to trade them?
I would see what I can get for him. I'll put him on the block and see what type of offers I get. If you, I'll tell you what, you give me a first for either one of them, they're on the plane. They're out. Goodbye.
Well, I can tell you in our league, top tier running backs do go for first. Like I haven't seen any go beyond that.
You pretty much have to. I mean, even if you don't like Chase Brown, he's still worth something. James Cook's definitely worth a first round.
Absolutely.
I mean, JT, you gave first round for him.
Shit, no, I gave 2.
I gave a first.
I gave JT 2, and
he's better than those guys. He was on a different level.
I gave a first round for Chase
But I also
Brown.
had to give up. Let me see. I also got Saquon, and I got him for a first, a third, and a player. I can't remember, but it was a lot.
Yep.
You know, so
you really didn't even need him.
Well,
he had that one big game, and that's it.
Yeah, as it turns out, you know, because when I actually brought him on, you know, I mean, he kind of sucked the rest of the season. He gave me one good year or one good game, and then the rest he just shit the bed. You know, I mean, and that's the funny thing about fantasy football. You have no idea what's going to happen from one week to the next. Nope. Yeah, I gave up this truckload for Saquon that got me nothing.
We do know this: 400 touches as a running back, no matter how good and physically awesome you are, it's just not good.
Agree.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like weird stats we come up with, you know, to fit a narrative, but that one is pretty strong.
And not only that, but you know, just because you actually have one good year as a running back, especially as a running back, I must say, doesn't translate to the fact that you're going to have another one.
Nope.
In fact, there's never every single running back that has actually had a 2,000-yard season has never repeated, not once in the entire NFL.
Because it's usually to get there, you have a lot of touches, right? And that's
volume. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I mean, buyer beware if you're actually trying to take, you know, a 2,000-yard running back.
Right. And so like that's why I'm very, very, very scared of Christian McCaffrey next year. I know he just had an amazing year. That sounds silly because we know how awesome he is, right? But I'm very scared of him.
Oh, I would be.
Like I'm in a redraft league where we're drafting just for next year. I'm taking Jahmyr Gibbs over him. You know, like easy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Agreed.
Obviously, Bijan's 101, and I'm taking Chase.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase over. I'm taking a lot. I'll just keep skipping them until I'll take Puka over him too.
Well, especially if you're actually playing in a PPR, you're definitely taking a wide receiver over a running back.
Yeah.
Well, I'd take BJ. I'd take Bijan 101 over even Jamar Chase, but I wouldn't fault you if you took Jamar Chase 101. But I get your point.
Yeah. Bijan, you know, he's still in his prime. You know,
God,
he hasn't even scratched the surface yet. I don't think.
Dude, he's a monster.
And
Tyler Algier will be gone next year.
Yeah. Well, just for informational purposes, Angry Joy, you traded a first, a second, and a third for Barkley. A first and a third in 2026 and a second in 2028.
That's right. Okay. So, yeah.
Look, you were trying to get to the chip. You know what I mean? Like, I can't fault you for that trade.
No, hey, man.
You saw a guy, you got a guy. You know what I mean? And that's what you can say about Hader, too.
Yeah.
Like, one thing, man, I can always say about you, bro, when you want somebody, you're going to get them.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what you're going to.
Whatever
as long as you're happy with what you got, you're good.
No matter how much the rest of the league hates you, hates the trade.
That's right.
And you know, that's the funny thing about Tony here, you know, I mean, because anytime a trade actually happens in our league, there's always somebody got something negative to say about it.
You
It's like, everybody's like, what the fuck just happened? You know, I mean,
why would you do that?
A lot of times I troll because I know it's either going to be me or Steve. And then it's just like kind of throwing the grenade, you know? Because then people are like, what happened now? And then they all start going nuts.
Yeah,
that is true. Yeah, that is true.
And then, of course, there's always one douchebag in the league that is always saying, well, I would have given you more for that.
Oh, I fucking hate
that's
that.
the biggest crock of shit.
Yeah,
why
man,
didn't you do it then, you dick?
Well, Steve will do that shit to troll, too. He'll always say something like that.
Yeah.
No. When I traded Christian McCaffrey, I won't mention names, but I had somebody say, I would have given you a first-round pick. I'm like, no, you wouldn't have. He was on the trade block for a long time. What are you talking about?
Says the guy who never traded a first-round pick ever.
Yeah. Look, get out of here. I didn't even know he was for sale. Shut up. You ain't going to do nothing.
Hold on. First of all, I have traded a first-round pick. I traded for Chase Brown. I gave up a first round.
No, I was talking about the other owner.
Not you. No. The person that was coming at you.
Yeah. I should mention his name, but I won't do it.
Nah. We'll need to disparage him.
We know who you're talking about, and I can talk shit because he's not.
No.
Easy to say after he just finished as a running back one row, or he gave you a fucking shit ton. Of course you would have.
Whatever. Yeah. I done had too many arguments without that
All right,
guy
but dude,
about that
so this experiment, like
Yes.
to me, the last 2 years, the running backs have been so consistent and so injury free, and it's just weird. Doesn't make any sense because it's typically the opposite, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like a new thing in the NFL. I don't know what's going on. It's
okay.
It's weird.
So let me ask you all this: for a dynasty perspective, though, which of these players go with the ones now, right, that are ranked from based off the season?
Yep.
Which one do you think has the most long-term value from a dynasty perspective? Let's say 2-3 years.
Well, dude, it's Gibbs and Bijan, and they're like by far probably the two most valuable assets in all of Dynasty.
Okay, so what value would you tack on to that thing? Like if you wanted to get them, and let's say you try and get to the chip, right? Like Joey, he traded all that for Saquon Barkley. What would you? First of all,
there's not enough.
Well, in our league,
the
two people who own those two people, you could give your fucking firstborn son, and they wouldn't.
Yeah,
you know,
you
like
can give them stock options.
dude, I know.
You could give them
cash under the table.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean?
But it would take
half your
But
winnings.
I'm saying
it
though,
wouldn't matter.
what do you think in the dynasty what going rate would be for that kind of a caliber player? Like if you wanted Jamar Gibbs, you're trying to get to the chip, or let's say you've been on the outskirts of the playoffs.
Well,
what would you give?
Well,
like
I'll,
3
I'll,
firsts?
I'll speak to it because I've already tried. I offer 2 firsts and Drake London for him.
For
And
Gibbs?
they turned that down?
For who?
For Jahmyr Gibbs.
I mean, that's about the right value because I was going to say you need to be multiple firsts plus a really stud and most likely a stud receiver like that, right? Because you're not going to trade a stud running back. It doesn't make sense.
It?
Correct. Well,
did he even try to counter?
Well, okay. Let me be fair. Let me be fair. He didn't outright reject me. Because I've dealt with this person for multiple years, I know you have to put a time limit on it.
Yeah.
So I gave him 24 hours to make a
you
decision.
actually had to wait
and time ran out.
3 days before. Gotcha.
I don't know if I would do the trade either if I had Gibbs, just because it's like, all right, now I'm kind of like, yeah, Drake London's a nice piece, but now I'm like starting over. You know, like where are those? Where are those picks going to be? I hate multiple first round picks because now next year that pick, you have the guy you just traded, Jahmyr Gibbs, has Jahmyr Gibbs now on top of his team. So that first round pick ain't gonna look as good. You know,
that's
are gonna be like a late first, and that sucks.
Good point.
Now, for our audience, you have to consider that. That's a really good take.
That's part of the risk reward, though.
That's actually a very good point. You know, so where do you actually go with that? Let's say, okay, so now all of a sudden you get rid of Gibbs, you lose that asset, and then you actually get Drake London, who knows?
So
wide receivers last longer.
I would counter and say, I don't want the picks. Give me Drake London. Give me Puka and. Like, I'd still want another piece.
Puka plus
but something. They wouldn't be crazy, but like
that's
be
Puka
about
and London. But
no,
like
because then you would probably be like, no. But like something.
I don't know. I still think that would be even. Puka in London.
You know, and gave up like you can make it work there. A pick or two here.
Yeah.
But something like that would make more sense for both teams as opposed to just a whole.
Shit, I don't even know what the good asking price for Gibbs would be. At this point,
tough. Those types of trades is like really tough.
It's really hard to do.
The only way I would trade him is if
trade.
I already have a productive run. Like I would have to have at least 2 productive running backs in my squad.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So I can kind of gamble a little bit.
But this kind of speaks to what we talked about earlier. If you're looking at your team and looking at how you have finished in the past, the person we're talking about here has not made the playoffs, and he has Jahmyr Gibbs.
Right.
At some point, you're going to have to think about, okay, clearly, I need to extract some value at some point.
Yeah.
Now, we already know that this person will let players die on the vine anyway. But if you look at it practically, if you've already gone through 2 years and you have not even made the playoffs and you have a top 5 running back asset, you got to start thinking about making a decision.
Yeah.
That's what I had to do with Jonathan Taylor.
So let me put it this way: if I was if I had the assets, okay, the offer that I would put up with this individual would be something like 2 firsts and maybe Saquon.
Oh, yeah. I probably
That'd be hard.
I probably wouldn't take Saquon because I'm not going to switch an older running back. For a younger one.
They just admitted they're in rebuild, so I have the old asset. I would want something else.
Wait, but you could still at least get some production. You wouldn't have a drop off.
You won't want it though.
Right.
You don't want
it.
I don't want to win an extra game or two because I have Saquon. I want to finish with the 101 and again next year because now I'm building like young talent.
That's fair. But what I'm saying is though, so those 2 picks that you're getting though, you're relying on those, right? You kind of want to see those, but in the meantime, hey, if you can compete a little bit,
and you not only that, but you have at least 2-3 years with Saquon.
Maybe.
Yeah, the only thing. Look, obviously, it's way roster dependent, right? But I'm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But if you're giving up something like that, I don't want a fucking old guy who's good, who's may help me win a game or two. That's all. I just don't want that.
But how old is Saquon? What, 28, 29?
He's 28 right now.
I mean, dude, he has at least 3-4 years left.
Yeah, but it's not. But it's not just about the age. It's also about his usage.
Oh, I know the mileage. Yeah, I get it.
So you got to take all of that into consideration. Plus the fact.
Okay, but are you saying that that's an unfair trade-off?
No, it's fair.
No.
It's just, I mean, it would
adjust it.
Me, it would depend on my roster if I accept a trade
absolutely.
like that.
I mean, to be fair, I would never fucking offer that trade. To be honest with you.
No, because you don't have no goddamn draft picks.
Well, I mean, even if I did, I wouldn't offer it. You know, I'm the fucking champion, you know, so why would I offer it?
Oh, shit.
Because you can afford
Here we go.
doing it.
Here we go.
See, here we go.
I don't ever want to hear you give me shit for saying that.
This is the beginning.
There it
This
is.
is how it begins.
But you've earned it, sir. That's all that matters.
God damn it.
That's all that matters.
I can't stand it.
You'll be there one day. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Anyway.
But I do have a real world example on this and why this matters. Because the only reason why I gave up McCaffrey and Jacobs is because I have Kyron Williams and Chase Brown. If I didn't have those two, there's no way I would have made that trade. So it is very roster dependent in a situation like that.
Right.
But
I don't want to always say that, but you know, for a trade like that, it definitely is. You know?
Yeah.
But I'm placing a 2 first-round picks minimum.
I would say,
something like that.
2 first-rounders for Jahmyr Gibbs is the floor.
Yeah.
That's the starting point.
Yep.
You know, but now let's take for instance, well, we talked about Gentry. What about Breece Hall?
Oh, see?
Well, okay, so
was he he was on there?
Well, Breece Hall, no. Breece Hall finished RB19.
I hear that he
Because
might
the
be
Jets
on the
suck.
move, though.
And I also hear that he may fucking franchise tag him or give him a big contract. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with the Jets,
don't do that, please.
The one team who doesn't need to spend money on a running back is the damn Jets. What are you doing?
Oh, my God.
Exactly. They need to ship his ass off. I totally agree with you.
I love Breece Hall, the player, but the Jets do not have. It's just it's dysfunctional, you know. Like, it's not working.
But see, mediocre teams do stuff like that. Now, and speaking of another mediocre team, I do have to put this out there. I'm going to make a prediction right now. I think Achane is on the move.
Achane?
Yes.
Why?
Because
he's on his rookie deal.
The Dolphins. That's exactly why. Because he's going into year 3 right now. He was a 2nd-round pick, I believe. Right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So as a 2nd-round pick, you don't have a 5th-year option. You don't have that at your disposal if you're the Dolphins. Right. You've already moved off of Tyreek Hill. Half the other players that actually are value, you already moved off on them, or you cut them. So you're clearly rebuilding, and the GM staff came from Green Bay. They clearly have a type. Achane's not it.
No,
he's not their type.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do that, and you already said everybody's on. Well, speaking of Tua, they said all options are on the table, but you have to think that everybody else is on the table too.
Tua's gone.
Yes.
I mean,
so then,
it's
so
whoever
again,
wants to take on that contract. I don't know.
Right, but he's coming up to get paid first. Right. You're not going to want to use those assets going forward, especially if Tua gets cut or he gets traded. Your cap hit is going to be through the roof for the next 2 years.
Yep.
So by the time his contract comes up, you don't have the money for it.
But he's a running back. I mean, it won't cost that much. And it's just weird. What are you going to get back for a running back, even though he's a very good one?
I mean, you probably can get a...
Nobody trades for running backs anymore.
Yeah, but if you get a third for him, if you can get a third back for him, you take that run.
Okay, wait.
I don't know if you can get it, but
let me ask from a Dynasty perspective, if you're going to do an Achane or what was the other guy you mentioned?
Oh, Breece Hall?
Breece Hall.
Yeah.
For a Dynasty, I think that'd be worth a 2nd-round pick. I would take a flyer if I'm a contender.
For Breece Hall?
Because like that...
If he stays
here's why. Travis Etienne.
Yes.
That was a gamble.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? And it paid off. So if you have an extra asset, as far as like, let's say you have multiple 2nd or 3rd round picks, why not risk one of those and just to see what can happen?
For what?
For like a Breece Hall or
Dude, I would give up
Achane.
a 2nd-round pick so fast for Breece Hall, but I think nobody would accept. I don't think anybody would accept that.
As long as
I think it has to. I don't think you can get him for less than a 1st.
Yeah.
Even as bad as he's been because everybody knows how good he is still.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, if you're,
I've actually heard some rumors about Breece Hall being tied to certain teams. One, the Chiefs.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Damn 2, the Chargers.
Why?
That would be dumb.
It
That
would
makes
be
absolutely no
dumb.
sense.
It would
That
be
makes
dumb, but they
zero
were actually
sense.
Now
trying
they
to-
have 2 young studs because even Kamani Vidal is a backup to
Yeah,
Martin
he
Hampton.
wasn't
That's
bad,
beautiful. And they're both getting paid nothing? Shit.
All right.
Right.
And here's another one. The third, the Broncos.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I mean,
That-
I
I
wouldn't
see that.
mind
That
it,
would kill
but it's
AJ
definitely gonna be
RJ
about.
Harvey's value.
I would do it if I was the Broncos just to prevent the Chiefs from getting them since they need a running back anyway.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true too.
Chestnut checkers.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
other thing about the Dolphins too, they have Ollie Gordon and they have
Jalen Wright.
Jalen Wright.
Yeah.
So to me, I think they still have another 2 or 3 years on their contract.
Yeah, but Gordon was a rookie, yeah.
Yeah. So to me, they're bigger and they're probably the preference of what
Okay.
this new staff is. So
But-
I think it would be advantageous for them to move off of Achane to a running back
Great. So
needy team.
A-Chain's
Sure.
going to
So,
be a
like-
Niner.
Sure, but tie this to the fantasy though, the fantasy
Yeah.
portion. Like, what does this have
So
to do
the
with
time,
the fantasy?
okay. So what I mean is, so like we're talking about resale values, right? Or potentially sell like high sell assets because they're still younger than 25.
Mm-hmm.
They still have that potential. It's just the teams that they're
Well,
on stink.
Achane doesn't have a PCL, right? He's missing a ligament in his knee.
What? No, he
No,
doesn't.
that's Tajay Spears, I
Is
think.
it?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was also. I
No.
thought.
I
don't think so.
Let me
Dude,
look
if
it
that
up.
motherfucker can do that shit with no
Yeah.
With
ligament,
no
then like
PCL?
maybe
Come
we don't
on,
need
dog.
ligament.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let me
no,
let me look,
that's-
let me look it up. But I do know Spears is one that
Spears
doesn't
is the
have
one
it.
that has
But let me look it up.
missing ligament. But
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
but the point is, especially with running backs, is like you got to strike while the iron's hot, right? But they're like used cars. Once they're off the lot, they depreciate value immediately.
Very, very well said.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. You know, I mean, you figure you only get maybe 2, 3
I'll say
years.
4. I'll say 4 years at the max.
Yeah, 4 years at the max, you know, of elite value,
Yeah,
if the elite value is there to begin with.
even if it pans out, or it
Yeah.
could be like Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I mean, and you know, running backs, they are so used and abused, and you know,
Yeah.
my gosh, they get just so banged up so quickly.
Yep.
And their value just goes down so fast. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's
So-
get them while it's hot. That's
Yeah.
that's a very well put statement.
Well,
And,
Mr. Raider here is trying to
and
you
know,
put out some fake news about Achane. We
No,
can move
no,
on
one
to
of the
not
things
fake
that I
news.
want to point out
It's something with
also
his
is it also depends on the kind of league that you're actually involved in. If it's a PPR,
Yeah.
you know, because I mean, and if you're actually talking about a pass caching
Savant.
running back,
Yeah.
you know,
Hell
I
yeah,
mean
man.
that makes a difference too.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean that's going to actually extend
Dude,
their life in the
and that's
NFL.
where A-Chain's value came from, man. He was a beast the last 2 years with catches.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
He's-
we knew Tua can throw it down the field. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, my bad. It's his PCL. He has one. He sprained it. Anyway, I know Tajay Spears was the one missing the ligament as well. But I'm saying, like, for this guy, he has some ribs. He had a concussion. Like,
Dude,
he's
but
injury
still,
prone.
But
So-
he hasn't missed a lot of time because I thought the same thing, but he hasn't missed as much time as you would think. You know, he's a little banged up here and there, but he's playing a lot. I mean, he's productive.
and
There's
he's still a top 5 running back.
So then, what would you offer for him to put on your team? Like, what situation would you, one, target a player like that, and two,
You're talking an NFL team?
no, just dynasty. I'm talking.
A dynasty team?
Yeah, if
Oh, dude. He's a pass catching running back with speed out the
Yeah,
gate.
he's like a
Okay.
poor
You-
man's
you-
Gibbs,
you-
dude.
Yeah. Like
so,
a
what
late- a
what's
late
his,
first.
What's his value?
it's a late first minimum.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Dude.
There's
I don't
no
know if I
question.
You're not going to get him for a late first, even, I don't think.
It'll be hard.
I was going to say maybe a late first,
late. I'll say
mid-second?
a late first plus.
No fucking way.
A late
No
first
way.
plus,
Dude,
no?
A-Chain? Dude,
Wait, what'd you say?
Well, I was just thinking, you know, a late first, maybe a mid second,
Maybe.
maybe. Well, I mean, no, at least.
Oh, you
a
mean
mid-second.
you mean a late first and a mid second?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very reasonable.
But if you're gonna do that, what kind of position is your team in? Are you trying to get into the playoffs, or are you doing that if you're a
Well, that's
contender
a
and you're
nice,
trying to get to the chip?
Well,
That's
that,
a
that
damn
matters.
nice piece.
That matters. You know,
So-
I mean, I
He's young still, too.
I was going to say if you're a contender, you know, because he's still pretty young, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
so
If you have a squad,
well, shit. I mean, I don't think at that point, you know, since his, you know,
So let's say you're finishing last almost every year. Would it be advantageous to even trade for a player like that?
no.
Like
No.
what team
I would
want to
say
trade for a player like that.
If you're middle of the road,
Yeah, that could
Yes.
push you over the edge.
middle of the road, and middle to late,
Or if you're like a first round exit in the
so
playoffs.
in a 10-man league, I would say, okay, let's just keep it simple. Let's say you're a 12-man league. If you're finishing between 6 and 10,
Yeah.
I would say that would be
Yeah.
a good place to make the trade.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I.
But if you're actually, if you're in the top 2, no fucking way I'm making that trade.
So, for instance, if you're
mean
a
the
Joe
worst two
Mixon
teams?
owner,
Mm-hmm.
if you have Joe Mixon on your team right now,
Oh man,
right?
You can
Why
drop
do
him.
you
You
have to
gotta
bring
make
that
a-
shit
you-
up?
Right.
Yeah.
You don't. And your team is.
Yeah.
Your team
Good
is.
point.
Yeah, your
Very
middle of
good
the pack
point.
team, and you have Joe Mixon right now.
Yeah.
You're not high enough to get Jeremiah Love on your team. That's not happening. So now you have to you got to mix up some stuff to get better at that position and still be competitive.
Did you say
So-
Joe Mixon?
Yeah, Joe Mixon. Yes.
He's saying that if you have him on your roster, that's your only running back.
Or like
He's
you're-
not going to even. He might not even be in the NFL. What are you fucking talking about?
But that's my point. My point is, you probably finished high enough where you don't have the number 1 overall pick this year in the rookie draft, so you're not getting Jeremiah Love. You're not getting him, so you're probably in the middle of the pack, and you have Joe Mixon. You need to replace him.
Okay, so I'm
So-
raising my hand. That would be me because I have Joe Mixon,
Oh, I wasn't speaking of you, but okay. So
and that motherfucker didn't do a damn thing for me.
Okay, so
Not-
what are
no,
you doing?
no,
literally, no.
so now
yeah,
you got a 0 on your roster right,
so
now.
you got a decision to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
say you
What
don't
am I
have.
going to get for a guy
Wait,
that
ho-
might not be in the NFL now?
Hold on.
No, I'm not saying
Yeah.
you're trading. You're not using him in a trade. What I'm saying is
saying
is
your
that
running
you
back
need to
core
you need to
sucks.
replace him with somebody.
Yeah.
So if you're going to
Oh.
replace him with somebody, Achane might be a good asset to look at, and maybe try to trade for to replace him.
Okay, I see
That's what I
you're
mean.
saying. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm tracking.